Hey Bookie Monsters, hi, how are you? You already know what this video is. It's my April TBR, or shall I say like April hopefuls too, because sometimes it doesn't always go as planned, right? But if you found me on this channel, this is my YA channel, which is all things YA and a sprinkle of NA and middle grade. Yeah. I have quite a few books here. And it's really interesting because a lot of them are actually new or upcoming releases. And for the most part, they're either an ARC or an audiobook. Yeah, that. Let's dive into all these books I'm planning to read or hopefully going to read in April. So to kick things off, let's talk about my We Read YA book club over on Fable. Book of the month. That is going to be A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. This book right here, I have to put it this way because it's the library cover, and you know how that goes. So literally, what do I know about these books? First of all, if you're here, I mean, thank you for being here. But for the most part, just like in my adult fiction channel, I don't be knowing what half these books are about. I only know little bits because I don't read synopsises and I don't do well with synopsises, so bear with me. But anyways, back to this. So what is this about? Well, from what I gathered, this is about a mortal girl who falls in love with the fairy king. I mean, what? Hi, how are ya? I love fairies, so this is it. But there's a twist because even though she fell in love with him, she also has to, or did, or yeah, destroy him. I mean, ultimate betrayal, that's what it's looking like. Do we think she's going to do it? I don't know. I guess that's what me and my book club readers are gonna find out. Again, my book club is over on Fable, and that is We Read YA, and we strictly just read YA because I had to explain that just in case the name of my book club didn't say enough. But yeah, I'll have that link down below for you. Okay, so I am reading another fantasy, and this one is an ARC, and this one is called Fallen City by Adrienne, Young. I was gonna say Adriana, and then my brain automatically wanted to say Grande. Yes, not her, but you know, Adrienne Young. Again, I was about to say that. Okay, moving on. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, but this is an ARC and it's an upcoming release, which releases November 4th of this year. But yeah, from what I know about this one, firstly, I know that Adrienne Young is a very popular author. So I was like, why not, give her a shot? And the fact that, this is an upcoming release, I figured it'd be great to read it. And share it with you guys so like that you can be ready to add to cart. So basically a legionnaire, something like that, falls in love with the magistrate's daughter. I know, Bookie Monsters, scandalous. So okay, the problem with that is that it's forbidden and it threatens the fate of the city and, listen to this, the will of the gods. Obviously, I mean, Fallen City, right? For a reason, because there's some kind of love and it's forbidden, kind of like on some Romeo Juliet type stuff. And I feel like that's why this is called Fallen City. I mean, I guess I'll be finding out, right? Right. Okay, Bookie Monster. So diving into the romance part of this TBR, and that book is The Romance Rivalry. This by Suzanne. Yeah, Lee. And this one comes out May 13, 2025. Okay, so what do I know about this book? Well, there's a rivalry, right? I mean, must be enemies to lovers or rivals to lovers, right? There's romance, because I mean, the romance rivalry. This is like a coming of age story, upper YA, because our main character is in college. So just keep that in mind. We are following Irene, who loves romance novels. So what did she end up doing? She ended up becoming our online reviewer. Hey, sounds familiar, right? I love romance. I'm a online renewer, reviewer. Yes. Yeah, that's why I'm here. I love reading, right? Right. Irene basically has this huge following, unlike me. But you know what? You guys can help me. Hit that subscribe button, down below. Like. Share with your friends. Maybe I could become as big as Irene. I don't know how big she is, but that's the goal here too, as well as my adult fiction. But anyways, enough about me and my online stuff. Let's get back to Irene. While she's in her freshman year of college, she decides, you know what? It's time for me to find true love. How I'm gonna do that? By using romance tropes. Oh my God. Listen, I don't even have to go into who's her rival. I don't remember his name, but basically he's also an online reviewer who is her arch nemesis. He decides, oh, you're doing that, I'm gonna do that too. Actually, I don't know who came up with it first. It's kind of like this little competition between them, battle of the online reviewers. As Irene struggles to tackle this college life while also kind of like finding herself, but also, having this competition in place so she can find true love, Irene begins to realize that maybe the answers are not found in a romance novel. Happily ever afters are, one, not so common, but also easier when you're reading it, right? What Irene decides is that maybe she has to get her nose out of a romance novel and actually become the main character in her own love story. What? This sounds like my cup of tea, and I'm excited to see where Irene's love journey goes. My horror pick for this month, because we're already in April, is Our Wicked Histories by Amy Goldsmith. Actually, I believe this is kind of horror / mystery with some historical pieces to it, I think. Or maybe I'm just saying historical pieces because histories are there. But look at this gorgeous cover. Like, what? So we are following Meg. There is something at the lake in Wren Hall. Meg was actually suspended from Wren Hall at one point for something that she did. I'm not sure what she did, okay? I don't know if it says it in the synopsis, but that's why we don't read synopsis and go into them blindly. When she comes back, she has to kind of like ask her friends for forgiveness, but she starts to realize that maybe her friends aren't what she thought, or aren't who she thought they were. Yeah, that sounds better. In Wren Hall, which is a school, obviously, she thought that it was going to be like everything that probably a prestigious school would be, but actually it's not. It's pretty old, gives off that atmospheric vibe to it. There's secrets in Wren Hall. Here's the thing, maybe the secrets are so much that her friends might not make it out alive by the end of the weekend. So you see, it's like mystery. I'm sure it's going to be atmospheric. Like, it's giving gothic vibes, maybe dark academia. I never get that word correct, but here we are. And I mean, the cover alone just speaks to me. And yeah, I'm excited to read this one and read along to it with the audio book, because I believe I put it on hold. But you know what? That's my own issue, not yours. Moving on. Keeping it in the mystery thriller realm, the next book I have on here, which is another arc and is actually soon to release. It comes out April 15th. And this one I'll be listening to it on audiobook. And that is Pride or Die by C.L. Mountbank. mount this. Listen, I apologize to all the authors. I'm always butchering names. And then also, my brain has a hard time with, you know, remembering. Yeah, you know, it's epilepsy. That's all I could say. But anyways, yeah, this is actually the author's debut book. And it's about an LGBTQ plus club that was framed for murder. And basically, you know, I mean, if you're framed for murder and you know you're innocent, what else are you going to do? You're going to kind of prove your innocence, right? You're going to be like, hell no, I was not there, Your Honor. I was over here, and I need to make sure that there's proof of that, right? They have to kind of claim their innocence before it's too late. It's giving maybe the actual person that did commit these crimes are going to hunt them down so they could because you know how the saying goes, snitches get stitches, right? Listen, I'm from New York, and that's just the way it is. I'm excited to listen to this audiobook. I'm so glad that the publishers, you know, approved it, even though there's a lot of books on my NetGalley list. But you know what? Your girl's doing really good this year because I have been making it a priority to make sure that I knock out these books, especially the ones that are also like coming out soon. Because you know, I got you, Bookie Monster. Yes. Anyways, next book. Okay, Bookie Monster. So let's get a little bit serious here. We know that you have to prioritize mental health, right? It's very important that if somebody is struggling with their mental health, you kind of be there for them, right? I, for one, you know, was diagnosed bipolar recently, so I'm learning the way this disorder works. I deal with depression, and that's why when I saw this book, Octopus Moon by Bobby Pyron, I believe that's how it's pronounced. I recently found this book and I'm so glad that I did. So if anybody's interested, you know, add to cart. It came out March 25th. This is a middle grade told in verse. And it's about a middle grader who struggles with depression. She's in a new school, I believe, trying to cope with this new change while also dealing with depression. You know, you can see why this touched here. Again, a sucker for beautiful covers too, because besides the cover drawing my attention, also the title too, because Octopus Moon, I'm very curious on what that's about. Just the topic alone also, because sometimes we think that middle graders don't go through their own stuff and that, you know, like mental illnesses are not a thing for them. I'm sure that this is going to speak to my inner child too, because a lot of changes in my life happen while in middle school. Actually, that's when I was diagnosed with epilepsy. Yeah, and I was dealing with a lot of trauma as well. We're not getting into the details of that because that's not what we're here for, but the point is that I can relate to this story. I mean, if it makes me cry, well, it is what it is, right? Obviously, it spoke deep. But yeah, I'm super excited to read this one. Actually, lately I've been enjoying novels in verse. Yeah. So there's a few that I how many did I read so far? I don't know how many, but I've been really enjoying them. At first I was like, why do I want to read like a poetry type novel, you know? But it is like a little bit different. Actually, the one that I read, I forgot the title, but this book right here, yeah, that was written in verse as well. And it was really good. So far, middle grade written in verse has really been, yes. Actually, let's get into you letting me know a little bit about your TBR. You can name 3 books, you can name 5 books, you can name all the books you plan to read or hopefuls that you plan to read. Don't forget to subscribe, and Bookie Monsters, thanks for being here. I love you guys so much, and keep reading. Bye.